Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. And honestly, I just want to say that I have no form of accountability right now because I said, well, I'm going to post a video every single week for my series. And guess what? I think it's like, I don't know what, like 3 weeks later. So yeah, this is part 2 in my series of self-improvement, and this video is about comprehension. It's gonna be a quick video because honestly, there's not too much to this topic. It's either you kind of got it or you don't. Yes, there's some things you can do to fix it, which I will be sharing now. And yeah, before I get into that, I just want to say thank you to everyone who reached out to me for my last video. If you guys haven't checked that out, check that out. That talks about communication, and that's like the first step that you should master before you get to the whole comprehension stage. So yeah, let's just get into it. All right, so we got into communication in my last video, and we talked about how to build good steps to becoming a better communicator. And that's really the most essential part, I guess, like first being able to communicate. But the thing is that no matter how well you can communicate, no matter how well people can communicate to you, if there's no comprehension involved, meaning if there's no understanding of what you are trying to communicate, then you're not really doing anything. There's no point. It's the comprehension that's the key part. And this part is really difficult because a lot of people, they are able to express themselves and their feelings and whatever their situations that they're going through, but they're not able to comprehend when others express to them. So it's like it kind of goes one way where it's like obviously we understand ourselves for the most part. We understand how we're feeling, we understand the things that we're going through, but the real challenge is to be able to understand others. And this is what comprehension is all about. I think the main issue that people have is that a lot of times they just listen in order to respond. They don't listen in order to actually understand. So let's say like I'm having an argument with a friend and we're sending back and forth paragraphs. Sometimes I'll notice that even myself, sometimes I just read it quickly without actually like dissecting what they said to me, just in order to give a response and give a sort of like defensive thing. Not paying attention to what they're actually feeling. I'm just trying to respond in order to give a response back. And this is the main problem I think that people have, is because they just want to get things over with really quickly, and they're in this whole like defensive state where they don't want to actually go in and try to understand how others are feeling and what is actually being expressed to them. So in my opinion, the best way to solve this is to give yourself time. I think the important part here is that we need to give ourselves time. And the reason being is because sometimes when you're in the heat of the moment, you can't understand a situation correctly. It's not until you look back a few days later, you're like, oh, well, now I get what they were trying to say. Or, oh, now I see how I should have worded something better. So you need to give yourself time. And I know it's really difficult, especially when like you're in the moment and you just want to get things done. And, you have so many things you want to say and so many things that you just don't want to wait to do. You want to get the situation over with now, but that's sometimes not the smartest idea. Even if it's taking a few minutes, taking a few hours, taking a day, just let the person know, hey, I want to take some time to think this through, and then I'll get back to you. By having this time now that you get to reflect on all your thoughts on everything that's being said, it will allow you to make a much more composed judgment of the situation and a composed reply, in order to not get yourself into even further trouble, because a lot of situations, they can be resolved so easily if people just took the time to actually listen to what others are saying and to actually try to understand them rather than just replying to respond, right? So that's kind of like the main thing. Take some time and really thoroughly go over what's going on. Hard part of all of this, obviously, even if you do take that time and go through everything, you might still not understand what someone is trying to convey to you, and why and how they're feeling about a certain situation. And the thing is, I was once so horrible at this. Like, I kind of grew up where it's like there was no emotion or any sort of like sensitivity allowed. It was just kind of like, like, oh, things happen, that's life. And people around me would get upset about certain things. I never understood why they were upset. And my friends would sometimes call me out on certain things, and I'm like, well, that doesn't upset me. Like, why should it upset you? Like, it's not a big deal because I don't care about it. But see, that's wrong. Like, I was so wrong in that, because just because I don't necessarily get upset about something, or I don't think that something's a big deal, doesn't mean that I can just dismiss it and write it off. That's not fair. So it's like you don't really understand the situation until you are on the receiving end. And now like I look back and I feel like shit because I'm like, wow, like I was here invalidating my friends and the way that they felt about things because I just didn't care about those things. And that's not fair. And this is one thing that we have to understand and have to realize if we want to be good at comprehension, right? You can't just write off issues because you don't personally feel them. And at the end of the day, there's always the chance that you might one day be in that exact same position. So it's really, really, really important to understand that we are not the center of the universe, unfortunately. I know, like sometimes I think I am. Like I wake up and I'm like, I am the main character. I am that person. But I'm not, of course. And that means that other people's feelings are just as valid as mine. And if something is clearly bothering someone, then I should try to figure out why that is and what I'm doing to contribute to that. Because it's not fair to just write your friends off. It's not fair to write people off. It's just like, think about it if it's coming from your perspective, right? Like we learned in elementary school, do unto others as you want done unto yourself. And I'm sure you don't want other people to just dismiss your feelings. So just be courteous, be cautious when you're dealing with others. And yeah, it took me a long time to learn that, unfortunately. But I'd like to say that I have improved in that aspect, and I've learned to become more sensitive to the emotions of others. And I am happy that I've been able to do that. But I've been able to do that because I started realizing that, everybody grew up a different way. Everybody experiences things differently. And that's what makes us us. And I have to make sure that I'm being mindful of everybody else's viewpoint. The best way really to be mindful of other people's perspectives and to try to completely comprehend what they're saying to you is to put yourself in their shoes. And I know that will never work unless you are completely in the same situation and you've experienced similar things. But at the same time, you just have to try the best as you can. Like I said, you don't want people to do horrible things to you, right? So why do you do them to other people? Like, why do we hurt people in ways that we would never want to be hurt? So if someone is coming to you with an issue, really what you should do is do your best to put yourselves exactly where they are. Okay, if someone did so and so to me, how would I feel? How would I react? How would I, process this whole situation if this was being done to me and not onto them? But then you also want to search in within yourself. So let's say I'm the person who is hurting my friend, okay? What about me and what about my actions are harmful? Like, why am I treating them this way? Like, what am I doing? Even if you don't think that something's wrong with your actions, at least just question yourself. Like, why did I do that? Like, what was my motive behind that? Because that will then help you better understand where you're coming from, which can then help you better understand where your friend's coming from if they are, bringing up something that you're doing that is not sitting right with them. And the whole issue with the comprehension comes in where people just don't care. Like they just don't want to, they don't want to be accountable for any of their actions. They don't want to see other people's perspectives. It's all like, I don't care. I don't feel that way. So I'm sorry that you do. Like, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I don't care. That's your problem. That's not my problem. And that's where the issue comes. And that's why there's so many people who have problems who could easily be solved with others if someone would just stop being so stubborn and just try to see things from the other perspective. I mean, there's really not too much else that you can do other than just really try to see yourself in that position and see how you would react. And then this is such a shitty like tactic. Like I hate that like we have to do this sometimes. But sometimes I think like, okay, like let's say if you're a guy and you're like treating your girlfriend bad or you're treating like another, I don't know, like girl bad, you can, like, unfortunately some men, they have to like think about it as if, oh, like what if a guy was doing this to my sister or to my mom, or the roles can be reversed. Like if I'm thinking like, oh, like what if a girl was doing this to my brother, like how would I feel then? And it sucks because like it shouldn't be like that, right? Like we should just, someone doesn't have to be part of our family or someone who's like super close to us for us to value them and to make sure that we're not hurting them and stuff like that. But it's a tactic that sometimes works. Sometimes I think about that, like, what if someone was doing this to one of my close friends? Like, how would I feel then if those roles were reversed? If you don't want to, because some people just don't want to apply things to themselves, right? They think that they're, you know, just this perfect being that doesn't do anything wrong, which is fake, of course. And if you think that you are perfect and that nothing you ever do is wrong, and that every single situation you're in, that you are basically the winner, that you have never caused harm to anyone else, then I'll probably link some like therapy things down below, you know, just so you can get some, just to kind of summarize everything, because I feel like this video is kind of jumping back and forth because my brain, I don't know what's going on in there. Brain cells not working. Summer school is killing me. Yeah. So really, just to summarize everything, first, give yourself time to process everything, to process the situation, to thoroughly read through or understand what someone's saying to you. Even if it's in a face-to-face conversation, you can still take time. Be like, okay, give me like 5 minutes. Let me just think this through. Or you know, let's end this conversation here. I'm gonna get back to you tomorrow. Something like that. Not just over text, right? You guys should be having these more important conversations in person, hopefully, because I feel like through text, everything is like kind of, I don't know, lost in translation, in my opinion. So that's the first thing. Give yourself time to go through everything. Second thing, put yourself in their shoes to the best of your abilities. And remember that what you do unto others can one day be returned onto you. And it probably will be in one way or another. So imagine yourself in their position. Imagine this happening to you. How would you feel? How would you react? You know, what would you do? And then that can sort of help you understand why someone is acting in the way that they are towards you. Or look within yourself. Why are you the way that you are? You know, what are you doing? Where are your actions coming from in order to cause sort of conflict or misunderstanding with others? And finally, remember that just because you don't experience something doesn't mean that it's not valid, doesn't mean that it's not real, doesn't mean that somebody shouldn't experience it that way. I understand sensitivity is not everybody's strongest suit, you know, it depends on how we've been raised, it depends on, you know, just what really gets to us. It's going to be different for everybody, but it's really crucial and really important to be able to balance other people's emotions and sensitivities with your own. You know, it's kind of like you want to just like read the room, read the scenario, and just be, I guess, mature enough to know that it's not just you out there and you are not the only person who matters. And I understand that, you know, we always want to put ourselves first, but in some situations, it's just, it's not fair to others. And if you, you know, if these communication issues are with people that you have a deep bond with, people that you strongly care about, you will put that pride aside and you will make sure that you can do the best of your ability to understand where they're coming from and to keep their emotions, like to respect their emotions and to respect their sensitivity. I mean, really, that's kind of all for this video. I know it was kind of like all over the place because there's really not a good way to explain comprehension. It's like I said, it's either you kind of can or you can't, but these are just some tips to improve that. And like I said, this is the most important step in any communication thing. You can communicate as much as you want, but if you don't understand what's going on between you, then there's like your conversation is not getting anywhere. So I hope you guys can just apply some of that. And you know, the older we get, we can't just keep like shrugging these things off and be like, yeah, like one day I'll get better, or yeah, one day I'll change, and you know, one day I'll improve things. That day is right now. That day is now, because in the future, 2 years from now, you are going to regret that you never took the time now to fix all those issues about yourself, because I'm sure we all have a lot. We all have quite a few things that could use improvement. So now is the time, and one of the most important things is this whole concept of communication. So if this is something that you can master now at a younger age, like I said in my last video, it's going to literally carry you through your entire life. Everybody in your life will be way more thankful for it. You will be way more thankful for it. It will literally change the lives of the people around you, your own life, your future children's lives. Like, this whole concept is just so important, and I know there's so many people that struggle with communicating with others and being able to comprehend, and it does pain me that people just don't try. They're kind of stuck in their ways, and I was one of those people too, but that was a few years ago when I was stupid and in high school. You know, I'm saying, like, as the time goes on, as we get older, your excuses start to run out as to why you're still a shitty person. You know what I mean? And I know that's horrible for me to say, but it's the truth, and I don't care. So I hope you guys learned something from this video. Thank you guys for watching my video. Yeah. like, comment, subscribe, message me if you liked it. Anyways, bye.